thanks to everyone for joining the call today. We're looking forward to presenting Sage Enterprise Intelligence. Like Amanda said, my name's Olivia and I'm the Director of Business Development for SEI in North America. And Jazz, my colleague, is joining us. He's our pre-sales engineer, so he'll be getting into a little bit of a product demonstration later on in today's session. Very quick agenda because we have a lot to cover today. We'll start with an intro to SEI, talking about as well some of the challenges you might be experiencing in your organization when it comes to data analysis and reporting. We'll get into some of the main reasons you might want to consider upgrading or leveling up, as we say, your business intelligence. We'll get into a demo, talk about how easy it is to move to a solution like SEI, cover some of the resources, and we'll take some questions at the end. There is a question box though, so if there is anything that comes to mind, questions that you might have, don't hesitate to type them in the chat box and we will get to them at the end. So let's get started. Hopefully some of you are here today because you're currently experiencing some challenges when it comes to your current data analysis and reporting processes. And when we talk about challenges, I will go through some of the most common challenges companies have when it comes to reporting, starting with the inability to access data in real time in a self-sufficient way. And the fact that a lot of the times when we need access to information, we're relying on IT for simple changes to reports or to give us the information that we need to make decisions, which leads to certain risks, including being, reactive instead of proactive, making decisions too late, and of course, it's a time-consuming process when we need real-time information at the moment to make those decisions. The other challenge that organizations have, especially as you grow as a company, is that you're probably not only using one source of information. You have probably Sage 300 or Sage Intacct, but you might also have a third-party CRM system or payroll, and you're unable to get all of that data into one place to allow you to gain enterprise-wide insight into that data. So definitely a challenge there. And when you're trying to pull that information together, again, it's a very technical process and something that typically the IT team needs to take care of. Another challenge with some of the tools that you might be utilizing today for reporting are slow performance. So when you start talking about really large volumes of data, you might be experiencing some slowdowns in your reports, which again, time consuming to be waiting for those answers that you need, and again, leading to potentially missed opportunities and late decision making. Manual processes, we know the risks of those as well. It's difficult sometimes to consolidate multiple entities and databases. Again, something that we typically rely on the IT team to do. When we talk about multiple entities and databases, we see this often with Sage 300 customers who have that multi-database setup. So really being challenged with pulling all of those databases together and of course running reports on those different companies or databases, what have you. The last challenge that organizations might have today when it comes to data analysis and reporting and BI tools in general is that you require multiple tools for each different system that you have, the different departments that you have. You might have something that you need to manage for finance, something else on the operational side. So managing all of those different tools, having everybody trained on them in order to be able to use them, it's again a time-consuming process and it's not the most efficient way to go about things. So these are some of the challenges. We're going to talk about how solutions like Sage Enterprise Intelligence can solve for these challenges, but I did want to engage the audience here and ask a question. So we will be executing a poll and would love if everybody can participate. So the question is, what challenges are you currently facing regarding data analysis and reporting today? So I think Amanda has gone ahead and opened the poll. We'll give it a couple minutes. Amanda, let us know when you have some of the final answers coming in.
Yep, I can see them coming in now. We'll just give it a few minutes. It's changing as we speak.
Okay.
All right, we got about 40 seconds left and then it's going to close off. Okay, and the poll is now closed.
Just out of curiosity, what was the top answer?
Time-consuming and manual data analysis process.
Very interesting. Okay. Excellent. So let's get more into detail on Sage Enterprise Intelligence. I'll give you a little bit of background on who we are. We are a Sage solution for the last 10 years, and we're available for multiple different product lines, including Sage 300 and Sage Intacct and Sage X3, in case there are any Sage X3 customers on the call today. So we're available all around the globe, essentially anywhere that Sage is, we are as well. We have over 2,700 customers using the solution and over 300 partners, including BAASS is one of our top partners representing the solution as well. Our mission is really to empower users to get the answers their business needs. Again, we talked about some of the challenges in terms of being able to get data when you need it to make decisions. That's what SEI is all about providing organizations with, is that ability to access all of your information in real time, whether you're a technical user or more of an end user, to be able to use that data, again, to make decisions and essentially do your jobs. SEI will help you manage your data. So if you do have multiple different systems that you need to consolidate, there are many tools within SEI that will help you connect and consolidate those data sources. It will, of course, help you gain visibility and insight in a multitude of different ways. You'll see that with the integration and the out-of-the-box reports that we provide with SEI. It empowers all an organization's users. We have multiple platforms that you can use with SEI, so not just web and not just Excel. We provide the ability to use both, which is interesting for some users, especially more end users that are more geared towards a drag and drop web type of environment. And one of the other advantages is the collaboration aspect as well. So you have information, but how do you share that information or reports with other key stakeholders or colleagues who also need to be advised of important key changes? Now let's get more specifically into some of the top reasons to move to SEI or upgrade your BI, we'll say, and I'll get into each one in a little bit more detail. So we talked about, again, that challenge when it comes to bringing information together and possibly having to use and manage and maintain multiple different tools for multiple different reporting purposes. SEI will provide you enterprise-wide reporting, meaning regardless if it's sales, finance, any kind of operational data, any kind of third-party data, SEI can really provide insight to anyone in the organization in any role. We provide pre-built reports for the solutions that we're available for. In this case, we're talking about Sage 300 and Sage Intacct. So you'll see that all areas of the business are pretty much well covered when it comes to what we deliver with the solution. So you can really get that enterprise-wide reporting. For Sage 300 as well, those user-defined fields are included within the solution. So being able to report on those out of the box. And the consolidations aspects, which I mentioned earlier, another challenge, that we sometimes face when we're talking about multiple databases and bringing all of those together. SEI will provide that consolidated environment for you from day one, allow you to filter on the different databases or companies in a really easy and intuitive way. Now, the data side of things, we talked about accessing multiple data sources, and oftentimes as an organization you have your ERP and that's there, and you probably have a legacy system or maybe a third-party application that you're looking to also connect to and report off of. So SEI will not only allow for those connections, and we have many of them that are pre-built and again delivered with a solution, but it will also allow you to clean up your data as well. So if you have data, that's coming from a legacy system or a third-party application that doesn't match up with the ERP, for example, the GL account names, SEI can provide transformation abilities for that data to be more synchronized when it comes to the front end and the reporting. In terms of the user experience, I mentioned this before as well, we have multiple different interfaces. So for those Excel lovers who are comfortable and familiar with the Excel environment, we see that especially with financials, there is the option to utilize the Excel add-in. For the salespeople like myself, who may not have that experience and knowledge of all of the features and functions in Excel, we may prefer a more web-based interface that's very easy to customize, slice and dice. It's a lot of dragging and dropping things around. Any kind of action on the web interface, it's very, very intuitive, and you'll see that when Jasdeep shows his demo. The flexibility, again, talking about the multiple different interfaces, also the ability to access data in real time from wherever you are, because the solution is HTML5, it's accessible from a mobile device. So if you have people who are on the road and sales need access to a quick dashboard showing the information on a specific customer, or if you're a CEO and want to access your reports, on your vacation, hopefully you don't, but if you do have that option with SEI as well. The collaboration is also another important aspect that I mentioned in terms of there being many different ways to share reports and information within SEI that will really help simplify and automate that information sharing to make sure the data is getting to the right people in time. Last but not least, SEI is scalable and it's future-proof, meaning that it works for companies of any size. So if you're a really small organization or a really large organization, SEI has been developed to work for any size company. Any industry. We know we all need some kind of reporting, some kind of insight into data. There are many different ways that SEI can handle large volumes. Also, if you're adding another company to your organization, it's very automated to have that company included within your SEI reports. There is a cloud option available as well. I did want to mention that. So if you have people or employees or colleagues working from different areas of the globe or Canada, what have you, access to the solution is facilitated through the cloud. And lastly, SEI will move with your organization. And what I mean by that is if you're a customer looking at your future and potentially a move to a solution like Sage Intacct as an example, you will not lose any of the reports that you've created in SEI. They will all move over with you and they will work with your legacy data as well as the data contained within your new system. So enough from me for now. I'm going to pass the reins over to Jazz. He'll get into the product demonstration, and then I'll be back with you to talk just a little bit about how easy it is to move to SEI with a couple of the tools that we have readily available. Jazz?
Perfect. Let me see if I can have the presenter right. Perfect. So now I have them. Olivia, can you please confirm if you can see my screen?
All good.
Perfect. All right. Thanks for your presentation, Liv, and thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Jasdeep, and I'll walk you through the product demo now. And we will begin by having a look at the first platform of SEI that I would like to show you, which is going to be the web application, where I'm logging in as admin. But I must mention each one of you can have your own login set up for yourselves, and based on your role in your organization, you can really set up the reports that you would want to see, be it on the financial side, sales, operations, so on and so forth. So once we log into the solution, we are taken into the main landing page, which has a command center on the left-hand side, which offers us the data models and views, which has the out-of-the-box reports tailored to Sage 300, for example. Like Olivia said, we have the integration with other ERPs like Sage X3, Sage Intacct, so on and so forth. So we do provide out-of-the-box reports just like these ones here for those ERPs as well. But today we will focus on Sage 300. So we have the modules on AP, AR, finance, project and job costing, inventory, purchasing, sales analysis. And as I expand these folders, you will notice they all come with their own sets of reports and graphs and visualizations. So that's the Sage 300 template, which is providing us a real-time access to the data. And on top of that, we also have the universal data model, which is running on the cubes, therefore offering us very fast processing of these reports, but also at the same time allowing us to connect to other sources of data which we might not be able to connect to directly within the ERP. So within one solution, you have the ability to bring in data from different sources and report on that. On the universal data model side too, we have many out-of-the-box reports, industry standard KPIs such as income statement reports, financial statements, and many other reports on sales and CRM as well. So let's go ahead and open some of the reports, and I would like to show you what they look like and how easy it is to work on them. So we'll begin with a very simple report on detailed transaction, where we can see all the transaction in one report, and also at the same time see a consolidated report. So if you are having multiple entities, multiple companies set up in your Sage 300, you will be able to see them all put together in one report like here. So to give you an example, in this report, we have groups, pivots, and columns. These are the constant across all the different worksheets or reports in SEI, and that's where we get the flexibility of moving things around and really seeing the data, slicing and dicing it the way we want to do it. So the drill down on these reports would depend on how many fields we have in the groups, for example. So we have the company code, and if you go in the groups column right here, we can see both those companies in this consolidated report. We can also easily filter on any one of the companies too, if you would like. So if I add a filter to SAM Ltd, it will load this company for me in this report. And then I can drill down on SAM Ltd to see the next field, which is the fiscal year. Further drilling down on which I can see my fiscal periods and all the way down to GL account numbers. So now I see the list of all the account numbers posted in fiscal period 3. I can further go down to the next level to see the raw level details too, such as the journal date, entry numbers, so on and so forth. On the other side of the report, we have all these columns, which are directly placed here in the columns shelf. So we can easily move things around. If I want to remove some of the fields, I can easily do that and keep my journal date only, for example. And we do have the ability to bring other fields as well in these reports. We have a toolbar on the right hand side, and one of the tools is dimensions and measures, from where I can go and grab new fields. So it could be the information on the dates, GL account information, optional fields that you might have set up in Sage 300, even the segment codes as well. So let's say if I bring in segment 3 code and simply drag and drop that field right here in my groups, and as a result, it will show me what is consisting within the segment 3, which is the different regions for me in this report. I can easily filter on these regions if I would like. Let's say we keep northern and southern. And then as a next step, what I can further do is to bring my segment into the pivots. And that, as a result, would create 2 separate columns of these regions, so I can compare them side by side. What I can also do is to maybe keep my fiscal year instead of segment 3. So if I remove this field, I bring in my fiscal year, then I will be able to compare my year-over-year analysis on this report too, by comparing and having a look at all the postings of different account codes at the same time. So there's a lot of flexibility when it comes to slicing and dicing, moving things around, filtering on the data, dragging and dropping different fields and KPIs directly from the dimensions and measures here to see the report the way you want to see it. Now let's move on to the some more advanced reports which we also have along with the universal data model. Let's have a look at the financial statement balance sheet, for example. There I can easily use the selection page here to filter on exactly the fiscal year and fiscal year period that I want to see in this report. And there we will have the balance sheet loading for us based on those selections, where I have the nice format of assets, liabilities, stockholders, equity, which I can drill down to different levels of details, again, depending on what fields I have entered here. And we can enter as many fields here to go to different levels of details. So now I'm drilling down to the accounts and further down into the document numbers to see each individual posting. What's also interesting and an added advantage of using the reports which come with the universal data model is the amount of KPIs that we get out of the box. So we do not have to start from the scratch doing all these calculations on variance percentages, year to date, rolling 12, budget versus actual mix. So these are all the KPIs which are delivered along with the reports, and all we need to do is to simply grab them and drag and drop them into our reports and have the data ready for analysis. There are also reports on AP and AR, which offer us the historical aging reports with aging buckets. So if we want to really see which of our clients have not made us payment, if their payments are overdue from those clients, we can easily view that information through these reports. So if I bring in my customer ID right here, then I will be able to drill down on all my customers, and at the same time use these aging buckets with the time intervals of 1 to 30, 31 to 60, which can also be customized according to how you have set up the payment terms for your business. so as to easily track down on the payments by the clients. And the same principle goes for the vendors when it comes to the AP reports. That kind of finishes most of the financial information, and there are many reports that I won't have time to open for you today, but here's a list of other reports like income statement, cash flow, so on and so forth. But I would definitely like to touch upon some of the other modules within Sage 300 as well, like project and job costing, inventory, sales analysis. So let's have a look at one of the sales reports very quickly. So in this report, for example, we are looking at the product codes. So I have all the product listing right here. I can drill down on one of these to see more details. So this is now giving me the information about which customers bought it, the customer name, and what was the document number, the invoice numbers attached with each order. And on this side, we have all the metrics that we might want to see and gain insights from. What we can also do is to convert everything that we see here in these reports in a tabular form into something more visual. I can use the tool, which is the toggle mode, where I can use this tool to keep my report on standby mode and easily filter on and in fact remove some of the fields that I do not want to see to easily slice and dice this report. So now I'm only looking at my product code and all the quantities sold to the customers. Now we can use one of the tools here, which is called the view type, to easily change this into something more visual. So we have over 100 different visualizations like bar charts, line charts, also the integration with Google Maps and maps for the other countries, which we can use to convert these into something more visual. So for example, I've converted that report into a bar chart, and then we can easily manage the properties here by keeping, let's say, 5 items per page. So my data rolls over different pages to show me each product on a separate page. So we can do something like this and hit save, and further use these visualizations that we can create on our own and include them in what we call is the next step, which is the dashboards. So dashboards are a great visualization tool when it comes to seeing and viewing your data in a more visual format. And there are out-of-the-box reports and the dashboards which are delivered with the SEI solution, like the one right here on the customer performance, where we have a lot of KPIs already built in, such as top 10 customers, top 10 products, and we can easily play with the data on these dashboards by making a selection right here using the filtering panel on the top. So if I go and choose fiscal period 4, for example, apply that filter, my data will readily change. We can also easily customize these dashboards too. So let's say if I want to remove this visualization and go back into the visualization, the bar chart that I just created earlier, we can simply grab that and drag and drop that into this empty space. And now we have the information on our products in a vertical bar chart like this one. Another example of a dashboard, we can pull a chief financial officer, a role-based dashboard, which also has a lot of KPIs that we can utilize and take advantage of. So here we have gross margin, profitability, cash to cash cycle, all of those important KPIs. Again, we can easily filter on the data using the filtering panel on the top, and we can easily go down into the underlying data by spotting some of the important trends on these dashboards. For example, the green line here, which is showing us the gross margin, I would like to know why it has dropped all of a sudden. So I can link this to an existing report within SEI to get down to the details and see what exactly could be the cause of that drop down. So here, for example, I could connect it to income statement using link to, and that will take me directly into my report. There are 2 filters in place, so I can remove one of them, and that will then show me the data filtered on exact year and period as we saw in the dashboard right here. And now we can use this report to get to the details by drilling down to different levels. Now, there's also an important side of SEI when it comes to sharing and distribution of these reports. Let's say I would like to distribute, in fact, point something out on this report and share that with my colleagues. So we have a sharing option where we have the ability to export these reports and dashboards in a format of our choice. It could be PDF or Excel, or I can also send a comment. So if I choose that option, I will get a screenshot of this report and I can highlight any figures that need attention and send a direct email to my colleagues. And all the annotations and remarks that I create on this report will be sent out as an attachment with the email. We can also schedule the distribution of these reports using the advanced scheduler and distribution module, where we can really select the reports that we would like to schedule. So let's say if I would like to create a reporting pack on financial reports, I can choose a bunch of financial reports here and a few more like this. We can also filter on dashboards and add them as well, and then give it a name, add a cover page to that, which will help us include our company logos, dynamic variables, and a text field to make it more presentable, and also table of contents, which will list all these reports and dashboards on that reporting pack, and send it out to different users. I want to send it to myself, another colleague of mine. I can do it right here. And finally, set the schedule of how often I would like to receive these reporting packs. Every Monday, every Wednesday of the week. I make those selections, hit save, and then SEI automates the process of sending out these reports on a regular basis. We can also set conditions. So if you probably are comparing your actuals versus budget report, or even a sales report with margin percentages. So if the margin percentage for a certain sales rep drops below the amount which is set for them, you could receive a notification based on that condition. So you can set those conditions and receive alerts and notifications based on that. So you can be proactive about the situation rather than being reactive. And here is the end result of what that reporting pack would actually look like, with a nice title on the top, followed by a table of contents and your dashboards and all your financial statements and any other reports that you would like to include in them that will be easily shared with your team members. One more thing that I would like to cover on the web application before we move on to the Excel add-in, second platform of SEI, is the reporting tree. So reporting tree is another added functionality which comes when it comes to reporting based on your company's hierarchy by setting your own filters. So here in this example of an income statement, we have the reporting tree on the side, where I have set up the reporting tree based on the parent filter, which covers all my companies. So when I click on all companies, I'm seeing all the postings of all the companies put together. But then I can go into each individual company, let's say Sam Inc. And then I will see the postings for Sam Inc. But then I can further set this up into one level down to define the regions within those companies, or this could be even the departments or site codes or cost centers. So you can really set it up the way you want and get to the different levels of details by a click of a button. Now let's move on to the next platform of SEI, which is the Excel add-in. And here it is. We have created some of the sample reports to show you, such as financial analysis here, income statement, balance sheet, and even a dashboard using Excel visualizations, but at the same time, which are pulling the data using the tools which are offered with the SEI's Excel add-in. So we can pull out the list of different accounts and apply filters to them using data extraction as a tool, where all we have to do is to define, to pick the fields that we want to extract from the database, and at the same time apply filters. For example, sales as a filter here will load all the accounts which will fall under sales. And then we can do and continue doing the calculations on these reports using other tools such as Formula Visit, where I can easily go and pick the data model that I want to work on, the field that I would like to choose, and operations that I would like to do. And finally, applying different filters, which are simply mapped with the different cells within the spreadsheet. That's exactly how each one of these calculations can be done. And we can create one report like this and replicate it across other dimensions using the tool called Duplicator, where the same report can be created for multiple companies, and you could have multiple tabs for each company, and each report will show you the numbers for that specific company, but at the same time keeping the same formatting and layout of these reports. So you do not have to rework on each individual report. So that's the added advantage of Duplicator. To finish it off, I would like to come back into the web application and show you our very recent development when it comes to reporting and analysis using the Excel-like environment, which is called the web workbook. So here we have an example on a balance sheet, for example, which we have created using the web workbook. So what is a web workbook? A web workbook is an Excel-like environment which we have developed on our end so as to offer to our users a similar platform like Excel, where they will have a similar layout of the rows and columns, and the ability to go cell by cell to get really tangible with their calculations in these reports, and at the same time be able to use all the tools that they are familiar with within Excel. For example, all these formatting options, all the abilities to connect and create new charts and visualizations, use Excel formulas, but at the same time, use the native SEI functionalities too. For example, the formula wizard right here. So if I expand it, I will see all my accounts. But if I go in here, I will notice there's a big formula right here in the formula bar, which is nothing but is a matter of selecting a few fields using the formula wizard right here. So I'm choosing the field that I want to work on, the data model that I would like to use, the operation that I would like to do on that calculation, and finally selecting a bunch of different filters here using the same interface as the SEI offers. So making it much more homogeneous as an environment for us to work in, but at the same time giving us the familiarity with the Excel platform. So that's exactly how these reports are created here, and we can continue using a bit of Excel within the web application, but at the same time using all its other functionalities that we saw today, be it out-of-the-box reports, dashboards, report designers, reporting tree, and also the web workbook. With that, I will conclude my presentation and pass it back to Olivia. Thank you.
Thanks, Jazz. I know there was a lot to cover there, so good job in getting it all in. Amanda, oh, you're a step ahead of me. Jazz, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
And it's the right one. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So just to summarize in terms of why you should choose SEI or consider moving to SEI. The first reason, it's very easy to use. As you saw when Jazz was going through his demo, it's a lot of dragging and dropping things on the web. And if you are an Excel user, you can probably get familiarized and comfortable with the Excel add-in quite quickly. You can access all of your data with the solution as well, with all of the different connectors, the ability to integrate other sources into the universal data models very easily. We have many, many customers using SEI to connect to outside systems, like I said, third parties or legacy data as well. It helps with collaboration. A lot of easy ways to automate the sharing of information with key stakeholders, colleagues, employees, so on and so forth through the distribution module and our other sharing capabilities. Moving from SI is quick, so we will get into that in a little bit more detail for the Sage Intelligence users on the call. And lastly, it is future-proof, like I mentioned earlier. Just wanted to share a quick success story with one of our customers, Nice Pro. They're a Sage 300 customer, actually located here in Montreal. And they had some challenges when expanding, being able to get that consolidated financial reporting and reporting on other areas of their business as well. So they saved a lot of time by moving things to SEI, and they are now quote unquote addicts of the solution, which is great. They replicated all of their reports, actually, which were in SI, in less than a week, but don't worry about that because I'm about to explain how we can get you started on SEI, and it's especially easy when you're coming from Sage Intelligence now. So getting started, the installation is very quick. It's about a day to get up and running, and you have the option of an on-prem or cloud installation. There's the training. So I always suggest taking some training live with an instructor, especially when it comes to the end user and the admin. This is a couple of days. BAASS has a team of experts who can help with this. We also have an e-learning program that you can rely on, to back you up and look back at later on when you're maybe trying to revisit certain concepts and things like that. Report writing services are available as well. But the one thing I did want to make sure I mentioned, because I do believe we have some Sage Intelligence users on the call, and you might be wondering, how do I move when I've invested all of this time and money in my Sage Intelligence solution and report writing there? So we have developed a tool that will convert all of your SI reports from SI to SEI. It's a free tool that we deliver with the software, and I was going to go ahead and just share this 2-minute video. So for those of you who are familiar with SI, this will probably speak to you in terms of how that conversion works and how quick it actually is. Won't play that again. All right, so as you can see, a very quick process. So when you get started with SEI and you are an SI user, you not only get access to everything that's delivered with SEI, but you'll also have your existing reports ready for you to use upon deployment as well. Here are just some of our resources that I've listed out. And for more information, James Tang, who's on the call today, the BI practice leader, will be more than happy to help you with any follow-ups, scheduling any more specific demos for your team. So I think at that point, I see a little thing flashing. I think there are potentially some questions. So we can open it up. I guess, Amanda, if you wanted to read out some of the questions.
Yep. All right. So our first question we have here is, what is the approximate price of this?
So it depends on kind of what you need, but in terms of the real starting point with SEI, you can get started for a price point of around $1,500 per year. And that comes with one full user of the software. All of the reports you saw today that Jasdeep presented, as well as the universal data models. So I'll just explain both types of users very quickly. One is, like I said, a full user. So that's somebody who can pretty much do everything A to Z in the software on the web and the Excel add-in. Somebody who's a power user or an admin going in and creating security, making changes to reports, so on and so forth. And then there's the viewer user, which is somebody who will want to access the reports, but really for analysis purposes. So the reports are still running in real time. They can use different features, filtering, drill down, they can slice and dice, but changes can't be saved and new reports cannot be created by a viewer user. So again, the base package of SEI is $1,500 a year. Both user types are concurrent as well. And you would add the modules based on what it is that you need. So like the distribution module, consolidation, so on and so forth.
And with respect to professional services, of course, then we will go through a requirements analysis session to identify the educations that you require, any custom reports that you may require, so that we'll be able to provide you with a fixed fee engagement as well.
Right. Second question that we have here is, what if I am on Intacct?
Yep, the solution is fully integrated with Sage Intacct. So we showed Sage 300 today because the majority of registrants were Sage 300 customers, but we have a separate set of reports that are built specifically for Sage Intacct customers. So if you're an Intacct customer looking to do more with your reporting, looking to access multiple different data sources, we are absolutely available. We have several customers, many customers using SEI for Sage Intacct. So if you'd like a more specified demo to see what we actually have for Sage Intacct, we'll be more than happy to coordinate that with BAASS.
That does conclude our questions, and I believe we have a poll left.
Yes, we do. I almost forgot about it.
Do you like me to launch that now?
Yeah, go ahead, Amanda, go ahead.
All right.
So we're just curious to know if anybody on the call like what they saw today and are interested in potentially a follow-up call and or demo.
And hopefully, as Olivia sort of mentioned and showed a little clip, right? I think the power really is for those of us that are actually SI, Sage Intelligence users, the portfolios of reports that you built throughout the year, right? So there's now a transition that you could take them into Sage Enterprise Intelligence without having to redo all of the reports. So I think that's very powerful and very key. And given that the robustness of SEI solution with its power, right, I think definitely it's going to be consideration for some of you who have enjoyed Sage Intelligence, but perhaps have outgrown Sage Intelligence.
Yep, well said.
All right, that does conclude our poll.
Thank you so much to everybody for joining us today. We hope that you saw value in the presentation. Thank you to BAASS for your partnership and for setting this up with us. And hopefully we'll speak to some of you soon.
Take care.
Thank you.